Welcome to the Madison Motor Podcast, special Sunday night emergency show. Some big news coming down this afternoon. Historic news. President Joe Biden drops out of the 2024 election. I cannot say that I am stunned that this happened. I'm surprised by the timing because I thought if he were to do this, it would have happened a couple of weeks, if not a month ago, after that disastrous debate. Apparently, everybody in his little inner circle was privately saying to Joe, hey, I think it's time. After he tested positive for COVID, I believe that was Thursday, it was the day that Trump spoke. Then the calls for him to drop out of the race got louder and louder and louder. Full disclosure, Joe Biden did the right thing. He's, in my opinion, not fit to serve this country 4 more years. And a lot of things, I think, led to this decision by Biden. The disastrous debate a month ago against Trump. Obviously him with the COVID. There are things that happened around the country and around the world that I felt that Joe should have stepped down or should not been re-elected. And like I said earlier, I think he did the right thing here. And now the question is, what's next for the Democratic Party? Joe Biden already endorsed Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris came out with a statement. And let me first read Joe Biden's statement. And then we'll read Kamala Harris's statement. He said, my fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation and lowering prescription drug costs for seniors and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of our world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-the-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve you as our president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinarily partner in all this work, and let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do, but when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America, and then he signs it at the end. And then him with the Kamala endorsement, an hour after he announced his that he was stepping down. He goes, my fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision at the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. I'm not surprised that he endorsed Kamala. That was his vice president, and Kamala, I think, wants this now that Biden has stepped aside. And then she posted this 2 hours ago. On behalf of the American people, I thank Joe Biden for his extraordinarily leadership as president of the United States and for his decades of service to our country. I am honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win the nomination. I will do everything in my power to unite the Democratic Party and unite our nation to defeat Donald Trump and his extreme Project 2025 agenda. If you're with me, add a donation right now in my link bio. So I think Kamala's the favorite to win the nomination. I do. But at the same time, I'm tempted to pick the field over Kamala, if that makes sense. I think I wouldn't make her a minus favorite. I would probably make her like a even money favorite. And then I think other nominees include Gavin Newsom of California, Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, if Hillary is willing to get back into the mix. She is pretty old at this point. 76, that's pretty old. And obviously Donald Trump is 78. So they're 2 years apart, Donald and Hillary. Another name that came to my mind was Bernie Sanders, who he's a Vermont senator, obviously. He's 82, so I personally wouldn't nominate him. And plus, he's independent. He's not a Democrat anymore. He's more of an independent. But I would not put him in there because he's 82. He's old. So I would not include Bernie Sanders. There's a couple of other candidates. I know people before the drama happened, people were talking about Andrew Cuomo. But obviously that situation with Andrew Cuomo, he's not in politics anymore. He was forced to resign as governor of New York. I don't think Kathy Hochul's going to be a nominee. That would just be crazy for her to literally become governor of New York because of the Andrew Cuomo stuff and then to become president. To me, that would be very, very strange. Some other potential candidates, Elizabeth Warren, she's 75, but not a big fan. I would not nominate former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. He's old. He's 82. I'm looking at like past nominees. Somebody who's interesting, he's only 42 years old, and that's Pete Buttigieg. He is the Secretary of Transportation, and he ran in 2020. Because he's young, that wouldn't be such a bad option. I think the Democratic Party needs youth. And I think the Republican Party needs youth also, and that's why I like Trump picking J.D. Vance as his running mate. Like, I think we need more youth in this country's leadership. Kamala, by the way, is 59, so she isn't old, but she's not super young either. I mean, Barack Obama's 62, so she's only 3 years younger than Barack Obama right now. So, that is, interesting. So it's going to be interesting to see who will be the Democratic nominee. Other candidates were Jason Palmer, who is from Maryland. Really hasn't done a lot. He's 52 years old. And Dean Phillips, who has a little bit of a background. He's the co-chair of the House Democratic Party and Communications Committee. So he has a little bit of a background. He's 55. And by the way, ages of some other names I threw out. Gavin Newsom is 56. Gretchen Whitmer is 52. So 52 is pretty young. Elizabeth Warren's old, but still younger than Trump and Biden and Bernie Sanders. I mean, she's the same age, I believe, as Hillary Clinton. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets that nominee. But if I had to make a bet today, it's probably Kamala Harris. But I think it's 60-40 that Kamala Harris, it's like 40, it's 60-40 that it's the field over Kamala Harris. But at the same time, to put it in a different way, I put Kamala at 40%, the field at 60, but like the 60% like branched out to like, say, I'm just making up numbers now, like 15% Michelle Obama, 20% Gavin Newsom, like something like that. But I do think Kamala's the favorite, but I would take the field over Kamala Harris as the nominee. So before I end this short breaking news show, I have not spoke since Donald Trump accepted the Republican nomination. You knew that was going to happen, and he had a record-breaking long speech on Thursday night. He opened up about unity and how he got really emotional. He even said that I'm not supposed to be here after what nearly happened to him and the near assassination that happened. So, like I said, it's crazy times that we're living in right now with Trump getting shot and surviving, and then 8 days later, Joe Biden stepping down. But the start of his speech was fantastic, talking about unity and being together. And then he went off script and was talking, like, kind of went in Trump mode and was talking about, like, stealing the election and COVID, and how he even referred to it as the China virus again. And he was calling people out, but not, apparently he didn't mention named, like, he didn't mention, apparently he didn't mention Nancy Pelosi by name. He didn't mention even Joe Biden by name, but he obviously was clearly talking about them in his speech. And like I said, the unity part of Trump's speech is, to me, what made that a good speech, but not the rest of it. I thought he went off the rails the rest of it, but I don't blame him for really kicking that speech off with unity, as he should. And because of the circumstances, you saw all the, everyone pouring out sympathy for Donald Trump after the incident. Even, it took Joe Biden a day to speak, as we brought up on Tuesday's show. But, Barack Obama came out with a statement and said all the right things. Nancy Pelosi had a statement, said all the right things, and how violence shouldn't be involved anywhere, let alone in politics. So I thought Trump had a good start to the speech, but he went off script at the end and went, as I like to say, in Trump mode. But it's going to be a very interesting next couple months. We have 100 and something days until the election. I say 107. And it's going to be absolutely fascinating, of course. And any breaking news regarding the Democratic nominee, we'll have for you on the show. Because of how long I covered the election in 2020 on my regular shows, I'm probably going to do, preview and predict, each state, how I, say for sports teams, how I, do predictions now and do team-by-team podcasts. And then for the college sports conference-by-conference podcasts. I'm probably going to do that with the election this year with the states. And especially the big focus on, the battleground flip states such as Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, states like that, Georgia, and focus on the cities that have flipped over the years that have big populations that could ultimately decide the election. So the next presidential debate is who the heck knows? When was it scheduled? September 10th, but it's going to be Trump against somebody else, Kamala Harris or whoever. And it's on a Tuesday, which is good because nothing else is on a Tuesday. And I'll never forget there was a year, I want to say 2012, when it was Obama-Romney, and the debate was on a Thursday, so the NFL had to move its season opener to the Wednesday so NBC can cover the debate between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. So September 10th is the next debate. That is probably, I'd say, approximately 7 weeks away. So we'll obviously have a new nominee by then. And it's ABC will be hosting it, and I think ABC is very neutral. I know a lot of people think they're pro-liberal, but I think they're very neutral. So it's going to be an interesting debate, and I think George Stephanopoulos is the right person to ask the questions. I think that with his experience in the politics world, I think he would be excellent in terms of being the host there. So September 10th, we got to remember that. All right, so there you have it for the short breaking news podcast about Biden's decision to drop out of the race. And I'll be back with you guys probably tomorrow to do the Olympics, which all begins on the 24th. So I'm going to do the Olympics preview and predictions show tomorrow. And then I'm Tuesday, so I'm going to do a lot of shows this week. And then Tuesday we're going to have another round of hottest takes, and I'm probably going to get into the Biden stuff more on hot takes as well. So stay tuned for this week's events. And then the regular show is going to come back. So the NFL Hall of Fame game is August 1st. So I think I might come back with the regular shows starting August 4th. Or no, that wouldn't make sense. So August 4th. August 4th is Sunday, be August 5th. August 5th is when I'm going to be back in my regular shows, and then preseason and all that. So remember the date. August 5th is when the regular shows will return. But because there's so much going on, I'm doing more shows that focus on the particular topics. So hope you guys have a good rest of your night, everyone.